Welcome back to the Pitch Clock. I'm your host, Connor Nelson, and this is everything baseball at game speed. We're tearing a page right out of the MLB playbook, and we're putting a 15-second timer on every single question. And we're going to get right into the action right now, and it's my pleasure to introduce fellow broadcaster, the Stachecaster, Brian Keiss. Brian, how are you today?
Great, Connor. It's great to be here. It's been a long time coming for you and I, so I'm really happy to be back.
Yes, sir. You were on the first iteration of the podcast show, whatever you want to call it, that I've been creating here, but now here with the Pitch Clock, this is a new concept for you. So to rerun it for all the audience as well, since we got a new show coming out every Tuesday, we got a 15-second pitch clock on every single question, and if you go over, we have a BALK challenge. So, Brian, have you seen some of the BALK challenges online? Do you think you're ready for those?
I have, and as a former pitcher, I think let's hope I still got it, right?
All right. Well, yeah, you never pitched with a pitch clock, though. I did for 1 year at least, and it was just the umpire counting in his head, so it wasn't very fun. But we got a real one for you right in front of you, so there's no question about when this thing's going to be counting down. And the first question I got for you today, Brian, since you're a baseball fan and, like you said, former pitcher, I'm curious, with this year, we've seen a lot of arm injuries already, so I'll get right to the point. Do we think Mason Miller could be a legit Cy Young candidate this season?
I think it's a great question, but for him as a guy who started throwing at the low 80s and getting into the mid 90s and now up into the hundreds, I think it's sustainable for maybe 2 or 3 years, but I think he's got to really dial in how he throws his fastball and how he complements his off speed with it.
So you kind of danced around that a little bit, Brian, so I'm getting the clock restarted again. I'm curious, do you think Miller has a legit shot at being a Cy Young candidate this season?
I think so. I think he's got a legit shot. He showed some really good prowess in the World Baseball Classic, and I think he's bringing that over to start the season. So, yeah, I think absolutely so. Give it until after the All-Star break to see, but he's still got a shot.
All right. I like it. Quick with the clock, too. I'll bring up his numbers really quickly. Just 7 1/3 innings so far. That's 4 saves, and he struck out 19 in those 7 1/3. So, hey, putting up some pretty alarming numbers. How many innings or saves does he have to get to be in the conversation for you?
What you said, what was he at right now?
He's at 4 saves in 7.1 innings. He's 4 for 4 on save appearances.
Okay, so I think if he goes, let's say 35 to 40, if he's in that range by the end of the season, which he probably will be, I think he's got a shot. I think he's got to keep the ERA down. He's got to limit the home run, which is really the power versus power thing that he deals with a lot with that high velo fastball. But if he can dial that in and really dial in those saves, he's going to have a legit shot at the end of the year, kind of like an Eric Gagne kind of deal.
All right, yeah, well, I just have Gagne's numbers in front of me, and Gagne didn't have to deal with the pitch clock, but he did have to deal with BALKs, just like you're going to right now, because we copped you on a BALK challenge right there. You were making your statement, and I agree with you. I think, though, the number is going to be 50. I think if he gets 50 or more, holds his ERA with below 2, it could be below 1 with the way he's striking guys out right now. And we're turning the clock off because I want to read out some of these stats for you. Eric Gagne, Cy Young season, 82 1/3 innings, 55 saves. All right. The year before that, he threw the exact same amount of innings and had 52 saves. The ERA was a little bit higher and didn't get as many votes. But I think Mason Miller, with all the arm injuries we're having, has as good a shot as anybody. I don't know. Any final thoughts on the topic?
Yeah, I mean, innings are everything, I think, in today's game, especially in the pitching side of things with guys. And, in the 90s and early 2000s when Gagne was throwing the bulk of those innings, guys were throwing routinely complete games. And so I think with starters, their limit going really about 6-7 innings. I think if you can factor in that change, that's the biggest thing for Mason Miller.
All right. So now let's go ahead and get into your very first BALK challenge. Brian, do you think you're ready for this? Do you need me to re-explain the rules, or do you think we're ready to get rolling?
I think we're good. Let's do it.
All right, so the clock will start as soon as I end my question. Brian, I'm going to need you in the next 15 seconds to name off as many off-speed pitches as you can.
All right, let's see. So we've got curveball, slider, ephus. Let's go Vulcan change. Let's do circle change, regular changeup. Got a palm ball, knuckleball. Oh, geez.
Bang. There's the clock. So we'll have to rewind it. On the screen, we'll have the official count, but I had about 7 or 8 right there on my hand. You named a lot of changeups. I know we had an asterisk on a changeup in our last time with this BALK question, so we'll rerun it, but I think that was a valiant effort. Looking back on it now, How do you feel about overall sense going into BALK challenges?
I like it. I think it's a good concept. I think you got a good one on your hands.
All right, well, we'll see if you can get any more if you run into another one. But my next question for you, this one is aimed towards your Cardinals, because you know what? That also just made me forget. We never had you do our classic guest intro, so let's rewind it a little bit. Who do you root for and why for our audience?
I'm a Cardinals fan. I've been a Cardinals fan for a very long time. My dad and my mom met in St. Louis. My dad grew up there, and so going to Busch Stadium as a kid, my dad tells all these stories of he was at Busch Stadium, the old Busch Stadium, when the Cardinals were winning in '81 and '82 and had those really good teams. And so I've always been a Cardinals fan. But I grew up in New Mexico and was born in Los Angeles actually. So, but the Cardinals are my team.
All right, well, we made our way there, no matter what. So I'm
Right.
curious. Talking about a Cardinal now, is Jordan Walker's breakout sustainable?
I think he's got a shot. Right now, I think with the front office that the Cardinals have and are putting together this year in 2026, he's got a shot at it, and he's showing the prowess that a lot of people really thought he had. And I think right now he's got the shot, but it's going to be a big challenge.
I'm curious because I'm not a guy who was following Cardinals camp at all. Had you heard anything about, okay, finally, you think this is going to be Jordan Walker's year, or is that just every year with Cardinals fans now? It's like, okay, finally, is Jordan Walker going to do this?
You know what? I think it's important to note that the Cardinals have a lot of youth, and they've always had a lot of youth. They really base their teams off of that. And they've got a lot of youth right now. Jordan Walker is now in his age 23 season, and so that's really important, but they've always had it.
Yeah, well, off to a bang. 7 homers, a 1 dotted OPS in 15 games as we record this right now. Probably getting his 16th or about 17th in by the time this comes out tonight. And hey, I don't know. Do you think he's an all-star candidate this year?
Right now, absolutely. I mean, he's the slash line. Looking at it, we're looking at a 333, right even at 300. He's also got the 767 slug, and then the on base is at 394. So he's if he keeps up that sustainability, I think especially going through the month of April and into May, he's got a shot.
All right. I think you just barely beat the pitch clock right there. And we'll wrap it up right here because I would love to see Jordan Walker continue this. And I want to turn the clock off and ask you one more question because you always hear about this, hey, a guy gets into a better situation and they play better, whether it's the environment, whether it's more competitive, less competitive. For the Cardinals, it's pretty obvious this is the least competitive team they've had. And since you've been born, maybe, I don't know, I'd have to go back. Yeah. But Jordan Walker seems to be excelling in this environment. Do you think maybe it's because the pressure is off? He doesn't have to be fighting for a spot in this lineup. He knew going into this year that, yeah, there are a lot of young guys on this team, but, I've been here. I'm going to get a shot, so this is my year to maybe take a breather.
I think the root of that starts at the front office with those changes. Obviously, they're bringing Kyle Bloom from Boston, and that's a big change for them, having the opportunity to kind of play around with these roles. And Walker has been there. I mean, he's had the playing time. He's had the veteran. He's considered a veteran on this team now, right? So I think that he's been there. He's got a couple of youth outfielders that he can take under his wing. He's got J.J. Weatherholt. He's got Thomas Sagasi. So I think those guys really allows him to rethink how he approaches new hitting coach as well, and so that might be a thing for much of the offense for the Cardinals. But it's been really fun to watch, and it's been a long time coming. I've been waiting for this guy because he was the guy that they talked about like Weatherholt back in the day, and so I think it's been really fun that he's now not fully reaching his potential just yet because we need to see that it's sustained, but right now is got it.
Yeah. Very positive sign, 8 homers, and in the last 2 years combined, he had 11 in over 160 games played. Like you said, in his age 24 season, so still a lot to be proved, but if this is a sign of things to come, Cardinals fans can be pretty excited about where Jordan Walker is at right now. And then my last question for you on the day, Brian. Typical 3 topics here on the pitch clock. This one is kind of an overall question. We've seen the ABS now. I'm a fan of it. I'm curious, before the clock starts, have you been a fan of it so far?
Yeah, I think it's great. I think just for the pace of play and the way that Major League Baseball is approaching that now in the 2020s is awesome. I think it also allows pitchers and catchers as a battery to have a lot more leeway. As a pitcher, I like it. As a former pitcher, I like it. And so I think it's good for the game of baseball, and it eliminates that a little bit more of that human error that has been a problem in the past couple of years.
All right. Man, you really taking advantage when the clock's off. I like it. But clock's on now. Brian, I'm curious. Should ABS be automatic in the ninth inning, kind of like how you see it with the NFL and with the NBA, where everything's being reviewed in the last 2 minutes, 20 seconds, whatever it is?
I think you get 8 innings of a pitch clock, or rather oh shit. You get eight.
Clock's counting.
Yep. I think you get 8 innings and then it turns off in the ninth.
No, no way you still got it. There's no way you still beat the clock.
I
Screw
pulled it
you.
out.
Screw you. I'm starting the clock over again, and we're going to get your
Okay.
real answer.
All
I'm
right.
curious, does the ABS challenges in the ninth inning need to be automatic just in case a team runs out and there's a huge call that impacts the game?
I think the ninth inning has always been really important for games, especially the top of when teams have a chance to walk it off in the bottom half. So give me 8 innings of ABS challenges, and then it turns off in the ninth.
Turns off in the ninth. So you want just the straight human element umpire in the ninth inning. You think that's what would be more fair?
I think so. Yeah, I think that's when you bring in that human element again, and I think that's what's really important.
All right. Well, I think that one might be a very controversial answer because I'm leaning on the side of I do think the ninth inning, if we're going to be doing this ABS in the first place, we're going to have to go all in. I don't think we should go all in terms of saying all 9 innings, every single ball and strike is being called by ABS. But in the ninth inning, we saw it in the WBC. Like, what's going to happen if a team runs out of challenges in the ninth inning? The final call is a ball. Everybody's going to leave an asterisk on that. Now that we have the ability to do it, I don't necessarily think umpires should be rewarded and teams should be punished for an umpire getting a call wrong and that ending a game just because you ran out of challenges in the first place.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think, and obviously we saw that game with the U.S., but at its core, that's baseball. And they're making all these rule changes. I'm a little bit of a purist, and so I think that umpires they have a job, and it holds them accountable to be a little bit better in the ninth when those big games happen. And so I think if they have that opportunity to change a little bit, and maybe you implement it in the future, but right now I think it should start with just the 8 and then turning it off or rethinking it even in the ninth.
I like that. Well, that was an alternative I hadn't even thought of, completely eliminating it, because I also thought it would be unfair if one team loses their challenges, the other team has one, and the call goes against the team that doesn't have any and they can't do anything about it. But I do like the point you brought up, maybe just eliminate it entirely in the ninth inning and bring it back to what we've always had. So, hey, that's our pitch clock for today, Brian. You escaped another BALK challenge. I'm pretty sad because I was really hoping to give you another one, but hey, we're going to have you back. We're going to give you more chances to BALK. And how did you feel about it entirely today?
I thought it was great. I've always loved the concept, and so just to be able to be here and try it. I've seen a lot of other really good guys do it and struggle with it, and I think I did a little bit, but it's tough. It's tough, and being timed, I think the game of baseball really caters itself to being slow, and so especially as broadcasters, and so being able to think about it in a little bit more fast pace, it's more snappy. It's awesome.
Hey, well, that was the pitch clock for today. Brian, thank you so much for hopping on. Pitch clock fans, if you're looking for more pitch clock, you can find us on Instagram, YouTube, and what's the third one? TikTok? Is that what the one I missed? Yeah. TikTok has a lot of the BALK challenges. So if you're wanting to study up before a potential appearance, that's where you're going to want to go. And hey, Brian's links are going to be down in the description too. Make sure you give the Stachecaster a follow, see what he's up to this season. Hint. But that'll do it for today. We'll see you in the next one.